Fire starters are generally a bit more popular than their two counterparts in grass and water, due to the basis that fire equals cool, and their possible charges are being extremely famous. We have gotten 9 final stage fire starters so far, but how are their shinies? They range from very good like Charizard and Ember to a bit disappointing. So I want to try and give my own spin to their shinies and try to show a different concept through the choice of color with these 9 sketches. Beginning with Charizard, it has one of the most beloved shinies, with lots of representation from fan arts to the TCG, and being the president of the Black Shiny Association. We all love black shinies, especially you Haxorus. So, with having a top tier shiny, it was difficult to find something that could be improved. So I went to the retro route, deciding to take inspiration from his Gen 2 shiny. If you didn't know, Charizard is a part of a few group of mons that their shinies were changed, like Slowpoke in more recent years. So I went for a dark color scheme, utilizing his purple frame from the original shiny, but making him look way more aggressive, with the darker colors helping to emphasize the crimson in his belly, making him look dark fire type. It's a decent variation to the original, but I still like the simpler red and black palette of it a bit more. The Flosion's regular sign is a bit disappointing. It looks washed out and it was honestly better in 2D. He lost a lot of his saturation, being a victim of the 3D transition. For my version, the flames in his back always looked like electricity to me, so I made his new shiny yellow, with the flames being bright blue to resemble electricity, making the shiny be a lot more upbeat looking, being a big contrast to its original soft orange one that invokes a calming aura. But I think mine looks better, especially with how they butchered the original in 3D. Hisuian Typhlosion does something interesting with its shiny. It goes back to the original Typhlosion's color scheme for the outer fur, but it doesn't change the flames. It would have been such a cool shiny if only the flames were red to match the originals, but in a new designed body. For my version, I decided to lean heavy to the ghost typing, using the purple to make him look pale, to fit the theme and change the flames from purple to pink. So there is some contrast with the skin. I like this idea better than just changing the fur to the original's color. Blaziken is another letdown, with it getting the short end of the stick with the Gen 3 shinies. It just makes his legs darker. A very lame sign for such a cool Pokemon. So I want him to have something better. So I went with the total opposite of red in blue, and matched it with yellow and white. To be honest, anything would be better than darker red legs, so no comparison here. Infernape Shiny doesn't do him any justice. He looks like a roasted monkey alongside Moltres' Shiny, so I base his new one to his design inspiration, Sun Wukong, with brown skin, black fur to be like armor, and white flames to not contrast the other colors too much. It's absurd such a cool Pokemon has such a lame shiny, so I'm glad I could give it another spin. Ember has one of the best but simple shinies. It changes the orange and black color scheme to a blue and black one, but it works since his design emphasizes the flames around his neck so much. For mine, I try to keep it simple. I also try playing with the kinds of greens it could have, using darker flames for his neck to emphasize the most notable design element of his, with some black and yellow as supporting colors to let the green shine. Delphox's sign is pretty good, going for a silver fox theme, which is quite interesting. This is by the time the signs weren't done by random, so we should be seeing a lot of great ones from now on. For my version I focus on the magic theme, making her look like a kind-hearted witch, with bubblegum pink and light blue color palette to support the idea. Both of them are really good to be honest, if anything one looks like a dark sorcerer and the other a light one, creating a fun contrast between them. Incineroar's sign does something pretty interesting, with the normal palette being red and black, representing his types perfectly. But with the shiny they replace the black with some white, giving him a way lighter palette, and it makes for a great contrast between shiny and regular form. For my version though I want him to look a bit more like a dark type, so I chose to replace the red with some dark purple, making him look a bit more scary and intimidating. And I kept the white to make an even bigger contrast with the darker purples. My idea was one of a witch is black like a cat, and I think on that front I succeeded. With Cinderace, I remembered an old theory back when Sword and Shield were first teased, with lots of fans speculating that he would be a fire electric type, or God forbid a firefighting type, due to the bandage on his nose. So I decided to deviate from the regular shiny that just changes what kind of bunny he is, from white to dark grey, and based the shiny on the speculation that it was an electric type, with the main color being yellow, which the red naturally complements, so it wasn't that hard to make something decent come out of it. I think it nailed the concept pretty well, honestly. Calders is the best looking out of the Paldean Sunny starters, which isn't a big bar to pass since all Gen 9 Shiny starters are a bit lackluster, with them not changing much like in previous gens. It just becomes a bit more pink, so for my version I want to change it a lot. So I kept almost none of the original colors, going for a teal and light blue color scheme. It looks quite chiller due to the color choice of course, with the blue being a more calming color being a contrast to the original's red, serving as a nice alternative. As for Bonbon, he was a bit difficult to come up with something, since he has barely two colors on him, being primarily orange, so I went with grey to contrast his lively personality, and adding some purple where his little red spots are for highlights. He's honestly my favorite out of the Gen 10 starters, and I hope he becomes Fire Fairy type, and stay on all fours, and not be humanoid. We can only hope. So we come to the end. It was really fun to sketch those shinies out, with my personal favorite being Skeledirge. Loving how cool the teal and light blue formed in his design. Tell me which was your favorite in the comments. Until next time, farewell.